Slideshow right there. I enjoyed it. I saw some of your faces in there. Maybe you didn't know you were going to make it until this morning. And so that's good. That's good. So it's been an interesting week. And so what I want to tell you about is something happened last night. We had the grandkids with us, and in particular, this was with the 6-year-old Clayson. And he's got these laser tag guns where you can shoot at each other, and you shoot one in the gun, and you get so many lives, and then you're done, right? You have to reset your gun. So we're playing that, right? We decide, hey, we're going to play this game. And I make quick work of the boy. I mean, he's through his lives pretty quick. And he goes, oh, I lost. He goes, I got to reset my gun. I said, well, let me reset my gun. He goes, no, you don't get to reset your gun. That's not the way the game's played. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I should get all my lives back. And he goes, no. So we continued to play. And every time that I would win, and I won like 4 more times. But I couldn't reset my gun. And so then we play what is about the 6th time, and I'm out of lives and I die. But I needed to wash dishes. So at that point, I'm like, hey, I go wash dishes. And he goes, okay. So I'm in there and I'm washing dishes, and he comes in the kitchen. He goes, and I'm the champion of laser tag. I'm like, wait. I'm pretty sure I won 5 times. He goes, but I won the last time, and that's the champion. Whoever wins the last is the champion. I'm like, that's not the way you play. You didn't let me reset my gun. I only had X number of lives. It was like you had infinite lives. How is that fair? He goes, well, that's the way we played today. And I'm like, okay, all right. I said, well, we're going to have a conversation about, points. And so I was washing dishes, and I've been able to think about it some since then. And I realized that 6-year-old he doesn't like to lose, but he had experienced defeat 5 times in a row until he won. And then he was the champion. And I realized this became so real. Last night and this morning, over the last few weeks, I've been dealt some defeats. Personally in my own family, but also in the family here in the church, just some things that look like defeat. And so I've been challenged last night and today by a 6-year-old that saw I get to reset, the enemy doesn't. We get to reset. And I might lose a battle or two, but we win the war. Amen. We are champions because we have a champion. And at the end of all of this, there's victory. And so I'm walking into the kitchen in heaven and yet shouting, I'm the champion, because for whatever losses I had, I got to reset, but the enemy doesn't. Eventually, he'll run out, and we won't. So thank you, 6-year-old, for showing me something. Now, I'm still going to have a discussion with him about keeping up with points, because that does matter. Today we have this vision service, and I hope that we realize as we go through that we have a mission, we have a vision, we have a plan, but we will experience some defeats. And for whatever those may look like, we have to remember we get to reset. We get to make sure that we're adjusted. And that's really what the Christian life is. We are being conformed to the image of Christ. And so we have to understand that being conformed to the image of Christ means making changes. And so sometimes we may feel like we're defeated, but really it's about resetting and doing better. And so that's part of what this service is about, seeing where we've been, where we are, and where we want to go. And so that we can make all the resets we need to make to just live victory and live to that victory and from the victory that Christ won on the cross. So as we get into this, you can follow along on the screens. Everything's going to be there. And you can follow on a little handout or on the app. We're going to go through some things. Some things we'll expand on, some things we'll go through rather quick, but always open to conversation in the future. If you have questions about anything today, feel free to ask Fred. And you ask me, that'll be fine. So we look at this vision. It's a very simple vision. It's to lead people to Christ through authentic worship, authentic community, and authentic community service. Remembering that as we go through this whole time. But before we go any further, we need to pray. So let's pray. Father, as we look at this, the mission that you've given your church, not just this one, the mission that you've given your church, Father, to go, to make disciples, to baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, to teach everything you've commanded, because you will always be with us, even to the end. Father, I pray that today, that the things we see, the things we hear, the things we think about would be part of the change you have for us as individuals and as a church. Father, I know the other campuses are doing something. They're having their vision service today, and they're having these conversations. And Father, they need your voice too. We all need to change, to do better with what we have, Father, to really align ourselves with the command and the commission that you've given us. And that's true of every church in our community that proclaims the name of Jesus. So we pray this prayer for all of us. Help us to make sure we're aligned. And Father, if we're at a time where we need to reset, help us to remember that you give us that. A time to recover and reset, that the enemy doesn't get to do that. That, Father, we are fighting from victory at the cross to the victory at your second coming. So thank you, Father, that we can live in victory, even in times that look like defeat. We claim it, we live in it, and we Father, we just pray that every one of our friends, our brothers and sisters that know you would understand that and live that way too. Help us to live for you in this community, for your glory and our good. Amen. Amen. So, we have that simple vision, and so one of the first things we want to look at is our simple, authentic discipleship process. So we start with worship. We see the next thing will be the next class. We look at development and community service, and we call this our discipleship wheel and finding ways to get in there. So what we're going to do over the next few minutes is look at each part of this and see kind of why we're doing it and what we're doing to make that happen. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at before we get there is growth. We are having some growth here in Tullahoma. Back in 2023, we averaged 369. The last 3 weeks, we've averaged 515. That's a lot of growth. That's a lot of growth. In 2023, we baptized 32. So far, in just 7.5 months, we've baptized 26. And God get the glory for all of that. And we hope to see even more baptized. We understand, too, about baptism, as we'll talk about it here in a few months. We understand that baptism is for those that have been believers but want to make a very clear profession of faith where they are. It's also for folks that are new believers to make a very clear profession of faith of where they are. And so we will see more baptisms, a lot more in the months to come, from people that have been believers for a long time and some that are brand new believers. We don't restrict people from having baptism. We try to facilitate that in every way that we can, but we do want to make sure that it glorifies God. And so we'll have those conversations. So if you are interested in that, you can come down at the end of the service and talk about that. And it doesn't have to be, we have 2 baptism services every year, but it's not the only time we baptize. We baptize any week. After any service, we've even been known to baptize during the week. And so we will baptize folks that want to make that profession known. So I'm excited about that. Those are fun numbers. Why is God blessing the church? Why are we seeing the growth? Now, I believe that we see that because we do expository teaching. We just teach the Bible the way it's written to us. We give a large part of our income away. We're involved in the community. We welcome all people. Our doors are open to anyone. Doesn't matter what might bring you in the doors are open. You can be here. And we're simple and authentic. We're just use biblical principles to make disciples, baptize, and teach. Matthew 28, right? It's that same thing. That great commission that we have is to go, to make disciples, to baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, to teach whatsoever he's commanded, the things of God's word, and we know that he's with us when we do it, okay? So that's what we do, and that's a very simple process. So let's look at this process, the way it starts, and worship. Again, we talked about last week, worship is not just the singing that we do, it's more than that. And when we look at worship, we like to think about it not just the way that we live our entire lives, but in this part of our discipleship process, it's just being here together on the weekends. And what does that mean? So we have a commitment here to corporate worship. We will meet on the weekends. We will meet on Sunday. All the way back in Acts 2 through Revelation, we see that the church worships together. They meet together to do that. And there's a lot of scripture that reveals that. Corporate worship brings us closer together. It's what we do here on Sundays. It activates joy. I mean, there is joy when I come and I'm a part of this that sometimes I may not bring into the room, but God puts in my heart. There's something about it. It reassures us. It tunes us into focusing on God. It's something we do corporately, but it's not the only thing that we do when we worship. There may be more to it than that. There definitely is. We have a solid commitment to expository teaching. Why? Why do we go verse by verse? Because it keeps us from skipping complex topics. Goodness knows that in the last 2 years, I've had to teach on some topics that I would rather have just gotten a small group and talked about instead of being up in front of everybody. But it was there, and we didn't skip it. We talked about it. And it keeps us also in proper context. We're not pulling verses out, trying to make it fit our narrative. We see what the context is and what the Word says about that. So that helps us comprehend. It helps us love the Word, and we believe that grows Christians faster because the Word is where we grow, and we believe it works that way. Every service, we also are committed to communion, prayer, and questions. We end every service with communion. Now, people have asked that question, why do you do communion every week? It brings every single meeting that we have back to Christ. It puts the focus on Him. At the end of this service, it's a vision service. We'll have communion. It's a great time to repent and reflect and just remember. He calls us to do it. He instructs us to do it, and we do. It's not routine. It's special every week. We offer prayer to anyone that wants to pray, that may need prayer, that may want to pray. There's always people down here at the end of the service that you can pray with, that will pray with you, for you, over you. And then I love this thing that we do is we invite old believers, new believers, non-believers, anybody in the room that wants to come up and ask a pastor a question. We put Fred over here and put him on the spot. And so, and I'm usually over here. So, but yeah, We're ready to answer questions. That's why we're here. We're willing to do that. And because of that, I think it has helped us grow. So after that, beyond that is the next class. And a lot of you are very familiar with that. Most of the folks here at this campus have been to the next class. Well, some of you have not. Some of you are new. Some of you haven't had the opportunity yet. But it's a very informal, informative step. Right? It's very comfortable. It's the second Monday of every month. We just come into this room. I'd literally just stand down there and we just share a little bit about myself. Well, I share a lot of bit about myself, about the experience, about what we believe, and you just hear the story. My story, the church's story, and then what are your next steps in the process. And it's where I really get to talk to people. One, I get to share my heart, but then also we get to have a lot of conversation afterwards. Been here very, very late, many Monday nights, and I love it. Just having opportunity to talk with people and meet with people. The whole team loves that. It's one of our favorite times. And so if you haven't been to the next class, I encourage you to come be a part of that. Another part of our process is development. We believe in discipleship, and we have a couple of things that we do to kind of point people in that way. One is called Following Jesus. It's a 7-week course on about the Christian faith. We do that in this room also. Where we have just opportunity to come together and talk about some big things of the faith, what we might call the essentials or the majors. We talk about prayer and worship, the Bible, baptism, communion, the Trinity, the church, how to share your faith, and discipleship. And that's kind of our first level of discipleship that we do. And then from there, we encourage people to join and be a part of authentic discipleship. It's a 12-week course. It's practical, effective ways. It follows the same model, a little teaching time, a lot of group time where we just talk about what does it mean to make disciples and where are we in our discipleship too. And so I love authentic discipleship. I've been through following Jesus about 10 times, been through authentic discipleship a couple of times. And so it's good whether maybe you've been through these things once, but maybe need a refresher. Maybe it's time to go back through following Jesus again and help someone else understand better. So that's one of the things I love about that. Now, community, we believe that God is communal, right? The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, and I think we should be in community too. The church has always met corporately on weekends and small groups during the week. So there's that corporate time, but in the Bible we see where they met daily. They met as often as they could. They met in their homes, and our answer to that is life groups. We believe in life groups. Life groups foster accountability, a lot deeper discussion, a lot of times about even the scripture that we've studied on Sunday, greater discussion about, you guys are doing pretty good in life groups. About, I think we're around 40 to 50% of the people, the adults here are in life groups. Great, that's awesome. That does mean that about 50 to 60% of you still need to get in a life group, because you're going to find friendships and mentors and support that you need. And you get to be the friend, the mentor, and the support that other people need. We need each other. Life groups is where we really fill those roles. So I want to encourage you, if you're not in a life group, get in there. We're really intentional. It's not like we don't just want everyone to be in a life group so we can say that everyone's in a life group. We believe you need it. Right? We want you to be in it. We want you to learn. We want you to grow, maybe even lead a life group, reach people, disciple, multiply. And if you want to be a part of that, you can check out the app, or you can go to the Connection Corner after the service, and there's information back there. And there's people that are in life groups. You find them, talk to them, get involved in a life group if you're not there yet. Those are going strong, and I'm really excited about the number of you that are already involved in life groups. Praying that continues. Now, let's talk about serving, because eventually it goes to that. So I want to brag on this campus. A few weeks ago, I shared with the other campus pastors that about 70% of our serving age folks, now we have middle schoolers, high schooler, and adults that can serve in different capacities at the church and in the community. So about 70% of you serve. That's phenomenal. I've been in church work for 35 years. The master's minority is about 20% that do all the work. About 70% of you serve. Wow. This is amazing. This is amazing. About 30% of you need to find a place. All right? We'll talk about that in a minute. So where do we serve, though? One of the places we serve is in nonprofits. Now, I want to go through these, and I don't want to go through them too quickly because this is important. This is part of what we do as a church. We've connected to nonprofits in our community. Life Choices, folks that are in a crisis situation in pregnancy, but they don't stop there. There is support beyond birth. So we love Life Choices and love to partner with them. And we've had them even as a highlight here in January. Blue Monarch, you're probably familiar with them. They're a local, ladies, it's a resident recovery, specifically helping women to escape a lot of darkness in their past and ultimately reconnecting with their own children and having a life beyond recovery. What an amazing ministry. We love to partner with them. If you know Susan Brinkley, you know her testimony, maybe you should read her book. Horseplay Incorporated, special needs ministry here in our community. We love them. You should get in touch with Holly out there and see how you might be able to serve. We support them. We sponsor horses. Last year we had our own Emerge event there. Our special needs ministry, not just at this campus, but all campuses, got to go out to Horseplay and had a great day of it there. And I know some of you already volunteer there. It's a great place to serve in our community. Storehouse Food Pantry. I know some of you go out there on Thursdays and help distribute food. I've been there a few times myself. We have some of our ministries. Our students go out there. Some of our life groups have been out there on Thursdays to help distribute food. Come to the Table is a hot meal. Maybe you're not familiar with this. Here in Tullahoma on Tuesday nights at Dameron's Restaurant, folks can go and get a free hot meal. As a church, you sponsor about 1,000 meals a year there. So thank you for that. But they need people. They need people to show up. You can have everything paid for, but you have people to come and volunteer and to be a part of that, because everyone that serves that night volunteers. Tuesday nights, the Attic Outlet just right over here, just right across the road. What a great ministry. Obviously a great place to go buy things at a discounted price, but that helps fund care for the homeless in our community. A great outreach there, so we partner with them. Be the Bush is another resident recovery center for men out in Normandy. Pastor Caleb started that ministry several years ago, and it's going strong, and we support them and encourage all the work they're doing there. Haven of Hope is another ministry that helps women that are in abusive situations, knowing how to get out of those situations and giving them resources to recover from that. Miriam House is out in Hillsboro, and it's another resident recovery program for women. We love to support that one too. FCA, we've partnered with them. We are being even more involved with them. We see the Elk River director of FCA. He comes by here probably about every other week or so, and we just get to talk with him, get an update what's going on in our schools and how we can be more involved. What we love about Bruce Gifford and the FCA ministries in our counties around here is that they're about evangelism. They want to see students reaching students for Christ, and they empower them to do that. Now, I love giving kids Bibles. I love having groups, but man, this guy, Bruce, he wants to see kids saved, and we do too. So we love partnering with FCA, the organization, but especially with that director. He's doing a great job, and we get to come alongside him and be involved in our schools. We're loving that. One Day of Hope, I'm not even sure if you're familiar with this. Do you know about One Day of Hope here in Coffee County? There is a day that's set aside, and it will be at the Coffee County Fairgrounds, where hundreds of businesses and individuals and churches will come together and just say, let's serve our community for those that have needs. This day, the fairgrounds opens up, and come in and share what you need. You need clothes, you need health care, you need dental care, you need glasses. What is it you need? And the community comes together and just gives one day of hope to our community that's in need. What a great ministry, and we are partnered with that and love to be a part of it. Schools, we definitely connected to our schools in a lot of ways. We provide meals for teachers. We help individual teachers with their classrooms, sometimes their needs, supplies. And of course, We Care Coffee County, you're familiar with that. Last month we collected and we provided vouchers for 170 pair of shoes for kids that needed shoes for the school year. It's hard for us to believe maybe that sometimes kids go to school and they have the shoes that they had on the last 2 years and they're worn out. They start their first day of school with toes hanging out their tennis shoes. Not if we can be a part of it. And We Care Coffee County is a big part of that. And they don't just do shoes. They have a lot of other resources they provide for kids. We love being a part of that. Now, that looks like a big list, a lot of things we do. That's how we serve in our local nonprofits, but it's not all we do. We are involved in the community. Thank you. Thank you, ECC Tullahoma. We have an opportunity to partner with Kiwanis at the 41A Music Festival and the Kids Zone this year. Some of you are going to be out there volunteering, doing some face painting. We're going to hand out some little backpacks with school supplies. There'll be bounce houses. Some of you are going to volunteer to help watch the bounce houses as the kids go in and out. Some of you have volunteered at our Independence Day celebration. You know how hot that was? It won't be that hot. Okay, so volunteers going to be a little cooler. We love being part of the Taste of Tullahoma. Maybe that's an opportunity for businesses and restaurants and a lot of opportunities where they come together out at the Armory and invite the community to just come and kind of taste of Tullahoma. That was a really fun event for us. We've been involved there this past year. We went the year before, and so we will continue to partner with that through the Chamber of Commerce. We're one of the few churches that is a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I've encouraged other pastors, join the Chamber. Let your church join the Chamber. It's not just a resource. They serve our community. I've been in several communities and tried to connect with other chambers of commerce. Listen, you may not know it, but Tullahoma has one of the best chambers of commerce anywhere. They are amazing. The way they serve this community and the way they expose all the good stuff in our community. We're one of the few towns of our size that has over 500 members in their chamber. That's a big deal. It's because it's a good chamber, and we're part of that. Of course, our Independence Day celebration, that's put on by the community, but we've set up out here in the parking lot, served about 3,000 folks this past year. We had hamburgers, hot dogs, bounce houses, cornhole, a little over 4,000 bottles of water. That was fun. What a great way to serve our community. We're involved. Our fall festival is coming up. We expect a couple thousand kids to come through down here at the park. I think that is October 28th. And we'll be at the park again. There'll be bounce houses, and we'll have hot dogs and candy, and we will just love on folks as they come through there. Community Cleaning Day, some of you got to be a part of that this past year. We went out in the community and we did some landscaping and trimmed some trees, cut some yards, did a lot of work over at the Shepherd's House. It was a great opportunity there. And then stuffed the bus. That was just recently and that was connected with United Way, where we collected items, about 60 backpacks, school supplies, 90 headphones, some snacks, and then a monetary donation on top of that, just making sure that our classrooms have what they need for the year. We're also partnering with the South Jackson Performing Arts Center. A lot of you remember our kids camp. If you were a part of that this year, we had this tremendous set. This whole front up here became a castle. There was a castle entrance in the hallway with a drawbridge. Very nice. And there were people like, can we leave that up for Sunday? I'm like, no, we don't want that chaos on Sunday. We'll have to take all the set down. And they're like, oh. What we did was we had an opportunity to donate all of that set to the South Jackson Performing Arts Center. They were happy to get it, so you'll probably see some of that in some of their upcoming performances this fall. We also partner with them. You know, they just did a remodel there, got some new chairs. The church was able to sponsor about 10 chairs there for the auditorium. We love the arts, and we want to continue to be a part of that, so we're partnering with them. And then the Tullahoma Fire Department. Each year, our local firefighters, they go into the schools and they teach fire safety to the kids. And to do that, they need resources, some stickers and hats and things like that. Well, that costs money that's not in the fire department budget. And so as a church, we get to be a part of supplying them with the little tools that they need to help kids listen while they're teaching them, and something for them to take home and remember some things about fire safety. This is big for us as a community. So we serve the community. We're involved in the community. And I say we, I mean you. This is all of us. This is what we get to be a part of. And I'm so encouraged that we are, in the short time we've been here, we've made this many connections, and we're loving it. We're loving it. And there are more opportunities, though. There are opportunities within the church to serve. We do a lot outside of the church, but there's a lot inside the church, too. Again, 70% of you are involved in serving. Thank you. And I'm going to look at these real quick. Hospitality, Echo Kids, Encounter, Eon, Emerge, Worship and Production, Prayer Team. We have Security and Medical, Art Ministry, Congregational Care, Photography, Parking, and Echo Kids Wednesdays. I'm going to look at a couple of these. And again, I would want to talk more about all of these. But we've got a volunteer fair coming up tomorrow night. Come and, even if you already volunteer and you know where you are, it's good to just come and talk to other people that may be about to start volunteering. So come and help out that way, or come and just find out what some of the other ministries do. Be here tomorrow night. Come be a part of that. I want to specifically say something about Eon. So this is, I know you're here at the 11 o'clock service, but we do have a need at the 11 o'clock service in Eon. That is our middle school ministry, and it's growing. So what I do know is that some of you, that God has gifted you in a very special way to love middle schoolers, that you can get beyond the attitude and the smell, and you can just love them. Thank you. And God has given you that gift. We want you to use it. Particularly, and I know you're here at the 11, but maybe God would have you start to come and attend the 9 o'clock service and serve at the 11 o'clock service. We have some need there in that ministry. And then again, also I want to point out Echo Kids Wednesdays. Now, this is not our weekday kids program. It's a program for the kids that are here on the weekday. Now, what that means is we have some folks that are coming and serving on Wednesday nights. They're helping in Encounter. They're here for Life Group Central. And their kids have been coming as much as we can. And they've been coming, and they've been enjoying the hallways. But now we have launched Echo Kids Wednesdays. We've been doing that for a while now. But this past Wednesday night, there were 20 children and 3 leaders. Now, they were troopers, and they did a great job, an awesome job. God did an awesome job working with those 20 kids. And it was good. It was good. But it could be better. So we need more volunteers. And maybe you could find a time in your schedule to come and serve on a Wednesday night. We'll ask you to get in touch with Grant about that, talk to Jordan about Eon. Just respond to whatever God's having you do. There's a place for you to serve. We'd want you to do that. So I want to talk about missions. We have a missions interest meeting next Sunday here in Tullahoma after this 11 o'clock service. I think it's about 1 o'clock next Sunday. So if you want to be a part of that, come and see more. But just so you can know, in our nation, before that, or in our state here, in Murfreesboro, we started the first church. Corey did in 2009, launched a campus in Cannon County in 2017, launched in Shelbyville in 21, here in 22. Our MIT program is a training for ministers. It's literally ministers in training. That is becoming more of our onboarding process and for our team as people join the staff and the team of ECC. Then we have the network that supports all of our campuses. I'll talk some more about that in a minute. As far as our nation goes, we serve and support several churches in the Northeast. Plan on taking a couple trips up that way. We are looking at other places in the nation, Indian reservations, maybe some stuff out toward Utah, but those are all in the work. But right now we're planning a couple of trips into the Northeast. We just had a group go up and do a Bible school up at, I believe, Garden City Church just a few weeks ago, and that was quite a blessing for them. In our world, we reach out and we serve. We go a couple of times a year to El Salvador and minister to elementary-age kids. We are still connected with Eastern European Mission, and we're looking for opportunities there in churches in Europe to partner with and maybe visit and support. We also support missionaries in Haiti, Costa Rica, Thailand, South Africa, Egypt. We sent a team to Egypt this year to kind of look and see what that would look like, to send more teams there. We are in the process of working ways to send a team out to Costa Rica and can start having mission teams in Costa Rica. So that's all in the future. Pretty exciting stuff. So let's go through this. This will be the quickest thing we cover, and you've got the printed material. If you didn't get it on the way out, and you can review it. But it is stuff we need to look at. So this is for all campuses. This is our 2024 budget for the church. The Experience Community Church is one church with 4 campuses. So across all campuses, the budget is $13 million. Now that was set because that was last year's giving. Across all 4 campuses, $13 million was given. And so it made sense. So, well, this is what the giving is. We'll set a budget based on that. We don't plan on spending more than what we would take in. This is generally the way we all do it at home, right? This is the way we do it at church. Someone needs to write a letter to the government. So, full and part-time salaries. We have 132 employees at the Experience Community Church. That is $4.45 million. It accounts for about 34%. I'll talk about that number in just a minute. Taxes, yes, the church does pay some taxes, $233,000. Health benefits, $1.3 million. MIT, that's the ministers in training, is about $152,000. Police and sheriff department, about $92,000. Because we have a very large campus in Murfreesboro that has parking challenges and just number challenges, there are some officers that are always there. And then, so that's what that expense is. And then the outside CPA, I'm always really excited to say that one. That means that, yeah, we have someone that's not in the church, not with the church, to audit the church. And that is good transparency. It's what we do. That's money well spent, and I want them to do a good job of checking out our finances, because I give to the church too, and that's good for me to know that, everything's on the up and up. All right. These are campus budget breakdowns. So when you look at these numbers for each one of our 4 campuses, you'll see a number plus this $324,000. So that $324,000 is what each campus is giving toward the expense of the network. And we'll talk about that some more. So if you'll see, though, in Murfreesboro, their budget is $9.6 million. That includes about $1.2 million toward the network, plus the $324,000. So the other 3 campuses only cover the $324,000. So Murfreesboro takes the brunt of the network expense. So you can see that for each campus. You see Tullahoma, where our budget is $825,000, $801,000, but when we add in our contribution to the network, that's another $324,000. So ministry expenses across all campuses, that's what it costs to do the ministries, Echo, Eon, Encounter, and so forth. It's about $2.5 million. Our operating cost, that's build-outs, maintenance, utilities, about $1.7 million. Okay, that's across all campuses. We're always having to modify and change to try to account for the growth, and that's a good thing. So that's an encouraging number. Okay, as a church, outreach and benevolence for 2024 projected, budgeted is about $3.9 million. I can tell you right now the number's going to be higher because we're giving away, because the income has been a little different than what we expected, and the needs in our communities has been higher than we expected. We're meeting those needs. So that number will actually be higher. So, but still, we budget to give away at least 30% of everything that comes in, to give it back to the church and people that have needs and the community around us. Our debt is zero. Zero. We rent our space here. The other 3 buildings we own. The church owes no one and no bank. We have no debt. We've not borrowed any money. Our team earns about 34% of our budget. We saw that a while ago. The national average for folks in church work is about 55% of the budget goes to the team, the staff. So we feel pretty good about this number. It means that we're not taking advantage of the resources. We're not getting paid crazy numbers or anything like that. And as a church, we give away 30% of what comes in compared to a national average of 10%. That's a big deal. I love being a part of this church because this church gives back to the community. If you're giving and serving here at this church, we thank you, right? More than we can say. It's because you've been faithful and you're giving. Lives are being changed, and we're involved in this community because of you. So thank you for that. So let's look at Tullahoma. Our 2023 budget is that $825 plus $324, $385, right? So our budget is right at $1.15 million. The salaries here for the 6 that are here account for $261,000. Benevolence, what we are giving back to our community here is about $128,000. That's what's budgeted. I'll go ahead and let you know we're going to be over that for this year because the needs are out there, and so we're going to be probably at about $140,000 to $145,000 giving back out to this community this year because the needs are there, and we will meet needs. Our ministry expenses, what it takes to run the ministries we have is about $147,000. Our operating cost, $233,000. Now that's general administration and rent. Again, this is the only facility that we rent. Our rent here is almost $200,000 for a year. So that's what it costs. But this is a great facility, a great place. So I'll be talking about that again in just a minute. So how is our giving? Compared to the average giving in America, we don't fare well. No. Serving, and I think that we are stewarding the money that we have really well. I mean, that's great. But the average giving per person out of 14,000 churches surveyed, it's not some small survey, not just cherry-picking churches, 14,000 churches, per person giving was about $2,340 per person. This campus gives about $1,594 per person. We're not average. We're about $453,000 below where our giving should be if we were average. But we're stewarding what we're given really well, I believe. We're getting a lot done. So what if we were average? What if we were there? What if we got that extra $453,000? It would not be used for luxurious living or increased salaries or anything frivolous. It would have just gone to the ministries of the church. And I'm going to tell you right now, it still has gone to the ministries of the church. We're still going to be spending what our budget is. It's just not all coming from our campus, okay? But if we here at Tullahoma had been average in our giving this year, we would have met every need here, our complete budget, and we would have given beyond into other neighborhoods, right? So let's go again real quick at 23. I want to explain these numbers because you may have questions here. In 23, our giving was $641, our expenses were $815, and the difference was $174, right? 24, our projected giving is $697. As of a month ago, or actually 3 weeks ago, our projected giving for this year is $697,000 that is. Our projected expenses is what that budget number is, $1.15 million. Why is there a difference of $453,000 this year, and there was only a $174,000 difference last year? Okay, that $324,000 was not in our budget last year or our expenses. It is this year. We want to put it in our budget because we should be contributing to the network. You can see that in our budget, we want to, we're not there. Also, our rent here has gone up significantly. Now, again, Dan Markham owns this building. He is an awesome, great guy, and he has been very benevolent. So when I say that and here's the deal, the church had not been paying a fair market value for our rental, and we are now. And we feel really good about that, and so we are glad to pay the rent that we pay for this building. I say that because we want to buy this building. We want to get in a situation, we want to get in a position in Tullahoma where we write, Dan is willing to sell us the building. And those conversations are being had. But in the next year or two, we want to write that check. We're going to write that check. That number is going to drop because we won't be spending $200,000 a year on rent. We will own this building, and it will be good for us. So let me talk to you really quick about the network, because there seems like there's a lot of expenditure there. A lot of you just see the 6 of us here that are on staff. What you don't see is about 30 people that are giving their lives to make this campus work. They are working hard to protect us, to create for us, to plan for us, and implement a lot of what happens here in Tullahoma. You may see us, we're more the faces, but these folks are making things happen in the background. We wouldn't be able to do the ministry we do if we didn't have the support that we have from the network. And we really are just covering, again, that's about 30 people. You think about 324,000. It's not just the people, it's the resources that we get to. All the printing and all of the insurance and all the other things that the network pays for all the churches. We really pay a small portion of that out of our budget now. That's what that 324 is added, and it's a very small price to pay for what we get. We're getting a lot of bang for our buck there. So I just want you to know that. And so I'm really excited that we are part of a network of churches and that there is a group of people that support us that way. So we're part of a network. Because of that, we've been blessed. They've been supporting us, and God's provided. But it's still, I've said this back in the first part of the year, I'm going to say it again now, that it's going to be our time to start blessing others beyond our campus. Again, that 450 may look like something, oh, that's a lot. It's not if we just become average. I just don't think we're average. I'm just going to throw that out there. We're a good church, and we could do better, and we will. Ultimately, here's the burden. We could look at the numbers and say, well, we need to back off. Not going to happen. Because the thought of someone needing the truth and having a place to hear that truth, if they didn't have that place, if somehow we backed off, that bothers me. It bothers me that there are counties and cities in our state where people can't hear the gospel in a very clear way. I'm not judging anything. I'm just saying that there are places in our state where people cannot hear the gospel in a very clear way. They don't believe that there's a church in their community with the doors open to them. So what we want to do is serve our city. We want to help others serve their cities. We want to see more people come to know Jesus, and we want to grow current believers deeper in their faith. These are our goals. Here in Tullahoma, here in this community, this county, and really all over the state, far beyond our lives. If the Lord doesn't come back, we believe that he ought to keep working, and the church ought to keep serving beyond us. We want to be a part of that foundation that's growing and going in this community. So we're trying to advance the gospel. This is not about gimmicks. We don't use gimmicks. We don't waste money on production. That amazing production, that video you saw at the beginning, that's that network working hard. That's not us hiring outside people to get it all figured out. That's the folks serving this campus and this church. So we don't waste money on that stuff and silly comforts or anything like that. We are the most benevolent church we know how to be, but the reality is we need your help financially, right? If we're going to continue to provide the space and the resources for people to hear the gospel here and in future cities, this is on us. We need to do this. We need to make this happen. We got to have a commitment to the vision. Now, I don't know who gives. I'll take that back. I only know of about 5 other people other than myself that give, for sure. There's only about 5 folks I check on, and they're on the team here because we hold them to that standard. If I get up here and I say you should give, everyone on this team gives. I know that. But as far as that, beyond that, I know nothing. I don't know who gives. I'm just saying this, whether you believe that tithing is a New Testament thing or not, it's clear that Christians should contribute financially to the church's mission. And if we're going to advance the gospel, and we are, it's going to take time and effort and a financial commitment. So what does that look like? Well, it looks like more than just finances too. I think we have a healthy culture here. I think that the Experienced Community Church creates a culture that impacts the culture, doesn't bend to it. Because we depend heavily on the Word, authentic community, and serving the city, we're in a good place to reach the lost and mature others in their faith, right? This is our goal. Reach the lost, mature, and grow believers. So when we're on the same page, that's what Vision Service is about. And I know it's like, well, I've heard some of this stuff before, but it's about us realigning and saying, you know what? We get a reset. We're going to make sure we're on the same page in our faith. And when we do that, and in our understanding and our mission and vision, we are equipped to reach the lost. That's what we're here for. Yeah, we want to grow. God, we want him to meet our needs. But also part of our need is to reach the lost. And we need to find opportunities to do that. So we share that burden. And it's time to dig in because there's a lot to be done. That means a lot of things. Now, we're not manufacturing the growth, right? We don't make it happen. God's making it happen. If that's the truth, God's making it happen. We need to step up and do all that we can to facilitate what he's doing around us. If he's doing it, I tell people this all the time. I just love that I'm in the middle of what God's doing. Because I'll be honest, in 35 years of ministry, there have been times when I felt like I might not have been in the middle of what God was doing. I'm just thankful that I'm here in the middle of it. God's doing a lot of stuff all around us, and we need to do everything we can to be a part of it. And we're going to continue to do that. And then one thing we ask is to be patient. I asked you to be patient a year ago when we did this. Hey, there are things coming down the line. It's just going to take time. I asked you at the first of the year, be patient. There are things we are still working. We are planning things 6 months, 18 months, 24 months into the future. Because we know it takes time and resources, and we want to be in line with what God is having us do. So be patient, because we have some rapid growth, and we've had to grow some ministries and develop some people to lead those ministries. We're going to keep doing that, right? We're going to keep doing that, and I'm excited about it, but be patient as we do it. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Just know that we might have to say, soon. I've been reading my Bible for 35 years, and I see that word soon so many times, and I know that believers have been hearing that word soon. Jesus is coming back when? Soon. So when I see it, and I really only mean a few months, calm down. Jesus has been saying it for 2,000 years, and you don't have any problem with him. All right. Be present, folks. Again, I'm not sure who I'm talking to right now, other than I can see a room full of people. Honestly, let's tell the truth here. Because of these lights, I see the first 3 rows. The rest of you, I see that there's people. It's hard to make out your faces. I'm not sure who shows up every single week. I'm just asking you to do it. Some of you may come once or twice a month, and I know that there may be schedules and things like that makes it impossible. But if it's a preference, if it's a priority, I'm asking you to make it a priority. Probably if you're here at the Vision Service, it's already a priority to you, but I'm asking you to do it. Just be here every week. It'll matter to you, and it matters to all of us that we're together. And don't just come. Get involved. Be a part of the discipleship process, because it helps you grow and helps you connect to people. We need each other. I'm not sure if you realize how much people need you. You might think about how much you need other people, but I'm not sure you realize how much we need you. We need your voice. We need your experience. Guess what? We need your struggles. Because sometimes we don't find the people we need to understand with until we hear someone say what their struggle is, and we realize, I didn't know someone else was fighting that battle too. And if you're not there to share, we can't hear. Get involved in the discipleship process. Get in a life group. Please be a part of it. And this may be the most important slide of the day. Build your personal relationship with Jesus. Pray, read your Bible, listen to him, and obey. Folks, there's no gimmick. There's no gimmick. We're not going to give you a pill that's going to make you lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks. That's probably not healthy, right? There's no shortcut to a strong relationship with Christ. Read, pray, listen, obey, dedicate yourself to a relationship with Christ. And this is bonus information. You want to grow any other relationship, dedicate yourself to those relationships too. Maybe pray about those relationships. Read God's word about those. Listen to one another. And obey God. And consider tithing. Again, whether you believe it's a New Testament thing or not, I'm not going to benefit from it. If you start giving more, if we become average, I don't get anything extra out of it. Nothing. Except maybe a little peace of mind. It's not going to go to foolish expenditures or any kind of decadent nothing. I mean, nothing. We're not going crazy with the money. It's just going to serve this city and this community and the people in this church. It's going to advance the gospel. That's what giving does here. It advances the gospel. I want to encourage you to do it and be a part of it. And I want to encourage you to serve. Again, I listen, 70%. Wow. You guys are killing it. If I focus a little bit, I can see how many of you, I know where you serve and you serve. I see the lanyard. I see the blue shirt. Thank you for serving. But I think we still opportunities for more people to serve. We need more people to serve. I told you about some of the needs we have. Listen, it honors God, it changes people, and it changes us when we serve. Volunteer fair tomorrow night. Just come on. Come on and be a part of it. Even if you weren't planning on it, just show up tomorrow night. We'd love to see it. No forms, no registrations. Just come and hang out with us, and we'll just talk about how much we love serving. And there'll be some people here tomorrow night that aren't serving yet, and they'd love to hear our voices talk about how much we love serving, what it means to us and how we've grown in serving. So come and be a part of that, and come and hear and be a part of it. Just be here. Why are we doing all this? Why would we have another vision service? It's for his kingdom. We're going to have to stay humble, focused, selfless, and hungry. Why? God's included us in his plan to touch people and to save them here and all over the world. God's using us. He's included us. I'm so thankful to be in the middle of it. This is why we're here. It's for his kingdom and his glory, and it is for our good. We've got to step up. Why? People need Christ. People need Christ. I'm going to say this again. Our community, right outside of these doors, all around, we pray for all the churches that proclaim the name of Jesus Christ every week. And all during the week, believe it or not. But only about 24% of the people in our community, in our micropolitan area, are in church today. No, we're in the Bible Belt. It's much higher than that. No, it's not. No, we're closer to 50%. Okay, I'll give that to you. Okay. I know the number is about 24%, but I'll give you 50%. What if 50% of the people in our micropolitan area are in church today? 50% are not. They're not. And it's probably because they don't know Jesus. We need to step it up. There's plenty of work to do. We have the support of a network that says, we believe in you, Tullahoma. Do it. Now it's time for us to step up and be Tullahoma. Be the campus that I know we are. Reaching out more, serving more, giving more, having a bigger impact. We are ambassadors for Christ. Ultimately, are we going to go? Are we going to make disciples? Are we going to baptize? Are we going to teach? I believe we are, because we know he's with us. No matter what kind of defeat we may face this week, we get to reset. We're champions. Let's start living like that. Let's pray.